Do you need help with your research article? Do you wish to learn more about manuscript drafting and journal submission? In this video, we will show you how to successfully draft a manuscript for submission to high H-index journals.
Scholarly communication is a specialized form of technical communication used by researchers to share their science with the world. Examples of scholarly communication include research articles, review articles, patent applications, doctoral dissertations, replies to journal referees, etc.
Are you looking forward to publishing in a good journal? Then you must come up with a novel idea first. Your research idea should address a burning question or an interesting research problem. Once that happens, it will automatically have broad implications.
So now, let's try to identify the most important elements of a successful research manuscript.
Once you conduct an initial literature survey, you can identify a good research problem. Once you do that, you still need to continue with your literature survey to find out why the research gap exists and how you could best address it with your novel approach. Remember that a research gap is a great opportunity to contribute meaningfully to the advancement of your field.
When it comes to academic publishing, we generally come across three types of journal articles: a research article, a review paper, and a short or rapid communication.
So now, let's see how to identify a target journal for your publishing needs.
5 types of journals exist in the world of academic publishing. Let's not focus on the borderline journals or predatory journals, because we don't want to publish in those journals. That leaves us with 3 types of journals: decent journals, good journals, and dream journals, or high H-index journals.
While identifying a few target journals for your publishing needs, you need to look at the H-index and SCImago journal ranking, higher the better. If you don't have enough funds to secure access to the Clarivate Analytics impact factors, then you can visit www.scimagojr.com to access the corresponding H-indices and SCImago journal rankings for free. Journal scope should never be ignored, otherwise you may end up submitting a good manuscript to an unrelated journal. Yes, you may use online journal selection tools, like the ones provided by Springer or Elsevier, but you need to do this with caution, as there would be some obvious limitations here. Lastly, make sure you read at least a couple of recent articles from your shortlisted journals. You must make it a point to avoid predatory journals at all costs. Watch out for some of these red flags before selecting your target journal. A general thumb rule is to avoid all journals not mentioned on the SCImago website or in the Clarivate Analytics list of impact factors.
Okay, so this is what we have covered so far. Make sure you continue with your literature survey. You need to do this to stay updated with the latest and to change the direction of your work in case someone publishes a research article on your research problem. You also need to avoid borderline journals, as they are likely to get delisted from the Clarivate Analytics or Scopus databases sometimes.
In order to save time while drafting your manuscript, you need to start using a good reference manager, such as Mendeley Desktop. We have already posted a video on how to use Mendeley Desktop for your citation requirements. Make sure you check it out today.
As responsible researchers, we also need to ensure perfect compliance with research ethics. Always be honest and do your work diligently.
Okay, so let's get started with the manuscript drafting process. IMRAD stands for Introduction, Materials, and Methods, Results, and Discussion. Your introduction needs to answer the question, why? You need to tell your target audience why you are pursuing a particular research problem. Your Materials and Methods section should delineate the entire process and make it reproducible by accurately describing how exactly you conducted your laboratory experiments. The Results section should only present the data you obtained. Finally, your Discussion section should interpret the results and explain the implications towards the end. Alternatively, you could include the implications in your Conclusion section, if the journal has one.
A lot of academic publishing experts suggest that you should begin by working on your Materials and Methods section, as this is presumably the easiest section to draft. The whole point of including this section in your manuscript is to ensure that your work can be reproduced, without any difficulty, by other researchers. Therefore, you must make it a point to describe your materials and methods accurately.
All figures and tables need to be self-explanatory. You need to use appropriate labels and SI units. The font used needs to be of a decent size. Please note that tables represent specific values, whereas graphs highlight trends.
After you finish preparing your figures and tables, you need to start collating your results, not in a chronological order, but in a logical manner. Never ever interpret your results in the results section. This is a very common mistake. You must only state what you found, without actually interpreting it in this section.
In the discussion section, you need to analyze or interpret your experimental data and communicate it to your readers using plain English. Do not suddenly introduce something new, never ignore unusual results, or inaccurately interpret your results in the discussion section. The whole point is to lead to the advancement of your field. Therefore, accuracy and honesty matter a lot. Some journals have a separate conclusion section, others ask authors to summarize their conclusions towards the end of the discussion section. In the conclusion section, you need to describe how your work adds value to the existing literature and contributes to the advancement of your field of study. Why is your study so significant, and what are its immediate implications? You need to discuss all of this here.
Once you finish drafting the conclusion, you need to start working on the introduction, because you now have a clear picture of your research findings and their important implications. After a concise and to the point literature survey, mention something about the research gap vis-à-vis your research problem. Tell your audience how you plan to address the identified gap, and highlight your hypothesis. Without fail, highlight controversies, if any.
The abstract section is used to market your work to your target audience. In fact, many people don't read beyond the abstract in the first go. So make sure you write it in a very compelling and accurate manner, using the strategies mentioned in this slide.
Design an attractive title. You need to market your work well to your readers. A poor title or a poor abstract cannot help you accomplish this task. Check out the actual example mentioned in this slide.
In order to get your article indexed properly, and to make it more searchable, you need to choose keywords that are specific to your subfield. Pause the video to see the example shared in this slide.
Finally, you need to take care of authorships and acknowledgments.
After you are done with your manuscript drafting, share it with trustworthy subject experts. Sometimes, other people are able to point out errors that we might not have noticed. Go for a walk, come back, relax, and then recheck your manuscript with a fresh mind. You may not realize it, but this actually helps a lot.
Make sure you check out Videonium's tips on how to prevent journal rejection. The very next slide also shares some insights on cover letter drafting.
Do visit the links mentioned in the description below. Was this video helpful? If you liked it, then please do share it with your network today. Feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This gives us encouragement to make more such videos. Thanks for your time. Best wishes for your manuscript submission.